Okay, everybody, we're going live here. We've been planning this for the whole day. I'm actually in. I'm on the farm. I'm on the family farm, and I am in what we call the garage because there are crazy storms out, and there's been storming all day. There's got the garage door open, and you probably hear lightning and all that kind of stuff. So we try to do the best we can. I was trying to film some video today for some instructional stuff that we were going to do regarding the Winchester 52, which I am not going to take out into the rain because it's too valuable, especially considering it's a unilateral optic. So that is that is a no-go. So while I'm waiting for the rain to subside and I'm losing sunlight, I figured I might as well go ahead and do a quick do the quick Q&A that I promised to do yesterday, because I was going to do that after. But we've had a lot of people send us questions. It's kind of weird though. We have people that they won't comment questions in public, but they will send us private messages, or they'll send us emails. So whatever. If you're shy, and that's fine. I mean, I certainly understand that. So. Oh, here's my little special fancy notebook I'm going to use. You get these things at conferences, and swag, and most people never use for them, but I finally have a use for this. I found it in my briefcase. So if anybody's curious, Grandpa Freeze just left, and he wanted me to mention the 51 Willys Overlander Jeep. Is that something? Overlander Jeep that's here? It's original. They've had it here since whatever. And there is a 79 Harley. I don't know if we can possibly see that just over my left shoulder. And actually, right behind the camera, or maybe it's an 80 Harley or 81, and right behind the camera is a 77 or 79 Triumph. So I'm not actually in the Armory today. I am over at Freeze's place. So it's a cool place. All kinds of, this building that I'm in, this garage, was a carriage house built in 1900 or 1901. And, there's 100 years of stuff in here, and it's all been in a family and all that. So, let me go ahead, let me see here and go through some of the questions or anything. The Winchester 50, this is, anyone asking, this is a Model C. Got my iPad over here. This is a, Model C Winchester 52. And what we were going to do is it's a non-shooting video. We were going to do a instructional on how to deal with cleaning it and how to take the bolt apart, because we have an issue in the Armory. When people check this gun out, they don't know how to take it apart. So I figured we'd go ahead and make a video and use it and do whatever. So this may be making an appearance throughout the videos. All right, let me go through and let me go through some of the questions here. Is there an update on the hunting with the PU with Freeze's PU sniper? No, not yet. That's coming. That's going to come this year. I don't know if he's still planning on doing that or not. So I don't know if I haven't talked to him. He's been working this week, so I just don't know what he's thinking with that. But the last I heard is he might quite possibly be using that gun to hunt, because apparently it is legal in the primary state that he hunts in. Let's see here. I'm going to save the 300 blackout towards the end. Do I still have the G3 truck gun? Yeah, I posted. Yeah, still have that. Look, do I still have the G3 truck gun, and is it the quote best choice unquote for truck guns? No, look, a G3 No, it's right off camera, right over here behind Grandpa Freeze's four-wheeler. Um, it's a few feet away. I could probably get it out. The primary reason why I use in a G3, it's not the best gun. It's expensive to shoot because it's a 308. For people that are recoil sensitive, the G3 kind of kicks like a mule. I mean, if you're recoil sensitive, if you're a 100-pound person, the G3 is not the most enjoyable gun. But they are known for their robustness as far as, if it's 10 below zero, if they're wet, if they're, X, Y, or Z. And if I'm going to keep a gun in the truck for, years, and maybe it doesn't quite get as maintained as much as it should. Now, look, in the real world, look, everybody maintains all their guns 100%. Everybody's got time. But in the real world, that gun may not get maintained that much. So I wanted a vehicle. I wanted a firearm that would be able to kind of go a little long on the maintenance. So that's what I chose. Ideally, I would have liked to put a Scar 17 back there, but I really can't justify having a $3,000 truck gun in the back of my truck, and I just, I don't have one that's available and all that. Andrew, yes, Andrew's coming in commenting. If a $1,600 VP is bad, how insane is a $2,200 Glock? Andrew is making a reference to a post that went up on John 1911 last night. It went out on email this morning on a $1,700 VP9. I'm of two minds on that. I'm a fan of the VP9. Actually, I'm wearing one. I'm a fan of the VP9. Aftermarket support and aftermarket products is a sign of a successful gun. So, I mean, it's a good sign. I mean, would I pay $1,700 for a VP9? Would I pay $2,000 for a Glock? No. I mean, especially a Gen 4 Glock, they are phenomenally accurate. I mean, I don't know what you're supposed to be buying with these guns. Now, look, I'm kind of a gun snob. I mean, I'm a guy that spends money on guns, and I'm not going to criticize other people because they're, for spending all that money on a Glock, because, I spend money on, I shoot Blazers. I mean, there's nothing rational about a Blazer and how much they cost. So, look, you want a $1,500 Glock or $1,500 VP9, go right ahead. It's fine. I mean, I'm not going to do it. I'm glad to see it. I'm glad to see, the guns, VP9s getting successful. Glocks have aftermarket support. But if you're putting $2,000 into a Glock and you think it's going to make it a better gun, I don't know. I mean, maybe trigger, if you're real sensitive with the triggers. Yeah, I mean, whatever, but each his own, so, whatever. Also, if somebody can confirm that you can hear me, because I'm in this old-ass building, and I got a door open and fan running and, all this, so if people can hear me, that would be fine. Just someone let me know that, you can actually hear this audio. Let's see here. What was it? Politics. Somebody wanted to know if I thought Hillary Clinton was wearing an earpiece at the was Hillary Clinton wearing an earpiece at the town hall. I guess I don't have it here, but town hall for his NBC, Matt Lauer. I saw the pictures. Unless they were doctored, yeah, dude, she's wearing an earpiece, 100%. I mean, 100% wearing an earpiece. If you look at some of the answers that she gave, especially the guy that was asking her about, the email servers, and her answer was real truncated, and she would stop and start mid-word. It was almost like she was listening. I mean, even now, I'm not very good at this. James, thanks for telling me you can hear me. I mean, I'm not real good at this public speaking, at least on camera, but I don't sound like I'm having somebody dictate an answer. So, yeah, she's absolutely wearing an earpiece. I mean, it's just my opinion. And what does it mean? Nothing. It doesn't mean anything. look, the mainstream media is not gonna like out her for it. It's not going to be a disqualifier. So if you were a Republican or a Donald Trump operative, and if I worked in a Trump campaign and I saw that she had an earpiece, what would I do about it? Well, I mean, Donald Trump, I mean, at the first debate, honestly, there's a real chance I would walk up and be like, let me see your goddamn ear. I mean, I just would. And, Trump can do that. But if I was a Republican operative, this is not some super secret spy stealth NSA CIA earpiece that's like, got stuff coming in from outer space that's, encrypted. This is some thespian Broadway thing that, it vibrates and, whatever. So I would either find out what the model is, I find out what frequencies it operates on, and I would try to either intercept the messages to prove she's using it or jam the messages to keep her from using it and see if she doesn't fall flat on her face. I mean, it's great intelligence. If I was in the campaign, whether the media believes that it's an earpiece or not, I would be identifying that earpiece, and I would be doing everything I could to shut that motherfucker down. So, yeah, that's. But if you think it's going to, be a big thing, it's going to disqualify her, no. You know what? Let me go ahead and say this, because we're going to do the politics and get off of it. October surprise, Julian Assange, WikiLeaks, everybody's like waiting for the... Dude, there's no goddamn October surprise. Julian Assange is about Julian Assange, and if he wants to, have something to promote his business and promote his brand, fantastic, But whatever he's going to release in October, it's baked into the cake. It's, does anyone not know now how dirty Hillary is? Does anyone not understand? Unless they had proof that Hillary Clinton was the actual head of like a third world pedophile child sex ring, I don't even see how, and even then, just apologize for the thunder if you can hear that, I have no idea. But even then, it's just, her argument would be, well, she's bringing third world kids to the first world to give them a better life. It's just, the only way to beat Hillary Clinton is to beat her at the ballot box and to beat her with frickin' Donald Trump. There's going to be no disqualifier to knock her out of this race. Just, you're dreaming. And, you need to, let that stuff go. So, all right, let me see here. Oh, so, and since I got the Winchester 52 out, somebody was asking, okay, it is September of 2016. And over the winter, Freeze and I were discussing, having a shoot-off. The Winchester 52. This is basically the gold standard of like 22 Olympic rifles until basically Anschutz and the European guns kind of took over in the 80s and early 90s. We were going to have a shoot-off between Freeze's Freezer's CZ452 and the Winchester 52, which I happen to have here. What happened to it? We got busy. I've been traveling. I've been working. Freeze is making shirts. We haven't done it yet. We'll try to do. I don't know if it'll happen. We got hunting season coming up in a few weeks. I don't know what's going on with that. That will definitely happen because... we're going to have to shoot for beer money. I don't drink beer, but, we'll have to do something. When I beat his 452, he's going to have to buy me something, like freaking lemonade or something. I don't know. So, let's go. Let's people. Greg from Swanee County, Florida. Hey, Greg. Thanks for stopping by. Let's see here. People talking about. I'm not going to touch the camera. If I touch this phone, it's sitting on a compressor. It's going to fall over. So I'm going to have to. If I'm going to catch the stuff that's scrolling by, I'm going to have to do it quick. Somebody wants to know what's going on with the podcast. We have two questions. We've missed an episode and a half of the podcast, and they're wondering what's going on with that. And then also they wanted to know what's going on with iHeartRadio. Well, I will do two things. I will do the last one first. We are going to be on iHeartRadio. We were contacted about it, and it's going to be something that will be available. So if you are a subscriber to iHeartRadio, it's coming. The John 1911 podcast. The reason it hasn't happened yet is honestly, I forgot. It's been so busy. It's been so busy with everything. It's just haven't done it. So um, there's just been a lot going on, and the reason is, some of you have noticed the last 2 episodes of the podcast, we have had a serious degradation in audio quality, and it wasn't from the equipment, because our equipment didn't change. It was from software updates. There was some kind of issue and problem, and so we had to run out and we had to deal with the audio engineer. We had to get a bunch of recording equipment. We're getting it set up. We're testing it. Once we get kind of that caught up, Freeze is working this week, so we did a test a few days ago. We thought maybe we actually had recorded a podcast, an episode. It was over an hour, but turns out it didn't record Freeze because I didn't have the software, I didn't have the hardware set up correctly. So give it another week or so, we'll have the podcast back online, and then I will get it up on iHeartRadio. And actually, my understanding is, shortly thereafter, once iHeartRadio's done, if you listen to this kind of stuff on YouTube, we'll publish it to YouTube as well, so you can listen to the YouTube, I guess. I mean, I don't, the audio engineer guys, they handle all that. I mean, I'm just a trigger puller. I can't keep shit running as it is. Let's see here. I heard you were on Snapchat. How do I find you? Oh yeah. We are on Snapchat. It's it's been crazy around here. We are on Snapchat. We're relatively new to it. I don't claim to be good at it. We are Mr. Tactical T-shirts. That's Mr. Tactical T-shirts. TACTICALTSHIRTS. I do have a snap code. We've posted it on our timeline, so I did not realize that when I first was playing with Snapchat that I thought all those little ghost symbols were all the same. So I went to the internet. I created a Snapchat. I went to the internet and grabbed a piece of JPEG of a Snapchat ghost, posted it to our wall, and all these people were like, "How come your snap code's taking me to Paris Hilton?" It's like, I didn't know that was a QR code, so I apologize. I wasn't spamming you. I removed that. I removed it, and if you look in our timeline pictures or our profile pictures, there is a updated Snapchat code. You can click with your phone, and it's all done. John, clutching the Winchester 52. No, that's a CZ. Nope, this is a Winchester 52. This is the. We're going to shoot some video with it today, but it's been raining like a freaking son of a gun, and it just hasn't happened. So I'm sitting here in the at the family farm, and I'm in the garage, the 100-year-old garage, with some kind of 1951 Jeep behind me, a Harley on that side, if you can see it, 1981, and then right behind the camera is a 79 Triumph motorcycle. I don't know the story behind it. Have to ask Freeze. So, also, if to finish up the Snapchat, if you are a Snapchat person, chances are you're probably younger. If you are following our Snapchat and you think our Snapchat sucks, dude, reach out to me. Send me. I've never even received a private message in Snapchat. Give me some advice. Give me some pointers. Send me messages on Snapchat. Send me emails. We'll talk. Let me, work with me. We'll figure it out. I mean, and the reason I need that is because I think Facebook's going to shut us all down, because we are gun guys and they don't like gun guys. Hold on one second here. Okay. All right. So, we had posted an article. It was a guest post by, I apologize, I can't remember the guy's name. He had a SBR AR, I think he was in Virginia. I'm in Virginia all the time, probably look him up. And it kaboomed on him, and the entire upper exploded, and he we did the whole story on it, and you can go to john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. I think it was Perfecta Ammo was the label on the box. I believe he told me that it was imported by Tula USA, but manufactured by Fiyoshi. But what caused some concern or some questions, and that's the main reason why I really wanted to post the article, was our local SWAT team earlier this year. We had an incident where a assaulter had a gun kaboom, and since they work where people are next to each other, we had one assaulter was basically disoriented by the kaboom. His gun exploded, and the assaulter next to him had damage to his ballistic helmet from the kaboom. It destroyed his AR. It was Fiyoshi ammo. Is there a correlation there? I don't know, but it was Fiyoshi ammo. I'm willing to say it publicly, and it's whatever. It was Fiyoshi ammo. It appeared. We don't know why the gun kaboomed. The initial theory was, looking at the unfired ammo, was either the cases maybe were not resized or sized or crimped, but what was happening is the unfired ammo, like all of the ammo, you could actually push the bullets into the case and get set back with your fingers. They were that loose. And so the thinking was, maybe it was like a setback with a pressure spike, maybe it was a leakage and sympathetic explosion. The guest post we had with his Perfecta ammo, I guess someone at Soldier Systems Daily had theorized that maybe two 55 grain rounds had somehow slipped into the case. I have no way of knowing that. I don't think they have any way of knowing that. I don't know if that's true. That is not my opinion. But the symptoms that were described in that kaboom seem to have a lot of parallels with the kaboom with the SWAT team locally. Also, by the way, the gun that blew up for the SWAT team, the SWAT officer, had to go to the hospital. He was fine. He was on light duty for a while. And his weapon was replaced by the manufacturer of the ammunition. So people were asking about that. Hopefully that clears it up. We'll see what it goes. Let's see here. Vic, I can't say your Lisa, Lake. I apologize. What is the best and cheap cleaner product for a handgun? Rem oil. I use different clean. Look, this is my opinion. I personally do not subscribe to I call it the CLR, Clean Lubricates, or the CLP, Cleans, Lubricates, and Protects. CLRs for bathrooms, but I don't subscribe to that. I'm not an engineer of that kind. I'm not somebody who can speak with too much authority on it. I just pretty much subscribe to the idea that if you can do all things okay, you're not doing anything well. I prefer synthetic lubricants. What I do is I do keep I use like a different type of copper cleaner on like rifles, stuff that's going 2,000-3,000 feet per second. Copper fouling is getting laid in that barrel. I use a different product for that than I do on handguns to clean the barrels. I soak them. It's a non-toxic product. It's a foam, and then I push the copper out. For handguns, I use I keep an aerosol kind of lubricant that I use just to get into stuff. Wipe everything down. Use Q-tips. I use patches and all that kind of stuff in Jags. If a super cheap way to clean a gun in an emergency, if you have lubricant, a lot of people aren't going to agree with this, but I think you could probably get away with rubbing alcohol. On a Glock, I'm not saying clean a SIG P210 with it or something nice, but if if you're in an emergency and your shit's dirty and it's wet and you need to get it clean and dry so it doesn't rust because you're not at home, if you've got some lubricant, man, I'd clean that baby with some rubbing alcohol all through it, then I'd lube it up, at least to get you home. Something, that's pretty cheap stuff. So, I don't know if that helped you or not. I mean, I use Slip 2000 as a lubricant, and then I use G96 is kind of like a generic cleaner because it's aerosoled, and I use that to get into things. But I use it more for the aerosol, not really for the. I use it as a medium to lift stuff and basically flush stuff. But I don't really think it's like a great cleaner. Any of those clean lube protects, CLP, all those kind of things. I'm just not. It's not my deal, not my bag. Have I seen the Russian sniper, have I seen the new semi-automatic sniper rifle by Kalashnikov? I mean, I've never seen one in person. I've seen the reports on the internet like everybody else. I think they're cool. I would love if they come to the U.S. I don't know. I didn't really read it. I don't know if they're being made here, because I don't think you could get those in the U.S. with the current situation because of Ukraine and the issues with Putin and all that kind of stuff. And if I were to get one, which would I get? Basically 7.62 by 51 or 7.62 by 54R Russian, 7.62 54 Russian rimmed, the big Mosin round. If it was me, I'd buy that in a 54R. Because it's a Russian gun with Russian ammo. And how many precision rifles are there out there that shoot 54R as a precision weapon? Now, again, it would be an example gun in our armory, a reference gun, a library gun. It's kind of a, pseudo collectible. I mean, if it was the only gun I had, they were like, hey, Marky, you get this Kalashnikov semi-automatic precision rifle. And it's your only gun. What caliber do you want? It's going to be .308 because I live in the United States. But, I mean, if it's a gun as a representative gun, and again, 7.62 by 54R is not a crazy expensive round. At least it didn't used to be. I mean, I don't know. I don't know if it is. If it's, it's. I mean, it's all going up, but it's not. It's definitely not like 7.62 by 39. And I get, is there a match grade ammo for 54R? I'm sure there is. I'm not familiar with it. Freeze would be the one to know that. So let's see here. What are we at? Okay. So this is for Rob Reed. I apologize. I just saw your message on the Daewoo gun. I really don't look at the PMs on Facebook. Other people do. I mean, I look at them if I get in there, but other people primarily handle that. And I just saw the PM you sent me about the buddy with the particular Daewoo that I'm looking for, and I apologize. I wasn't ignoring you. Other people saw it. They left it for me, figuring I'm the person to answer it. I never saw it, so I didn't answer it. I was setting up for this. I reached out. I think you got my message. I will follow up with you and see if we can't get that Daewoo. I'd love to have that for the... we've been looking for one for the Armory for a while. So again, I apologize. We do not ignore messages, even if we don't necessarily respond to all of them. If we can't, we do read every single message, including the crappy ones. Let's see here. What else we got? Heather wants to know when we're going to do the Hot and Psychotic t-shirt. I will tell you, we do have it drawn. I mean, art department did that. They did that design, a year ago. And we're going to print it. I don't know. We'll talk to we'll talk to Freeze. Ed Crawford, what is the best World War II weapon to invest in immediately? I'm going to the gun show this weekend, considering the increasing prices. I think Freeze addressed this. I think he addressed it online. If you want to I'll rehash for the benefit. World War II stuff. Did I say World War II? Yeah, World War II stuff has been going up and up and up in price, and it's getting to the point that it's getting stupid. And basically, all of that happened after the movie Saving Private Ryan. I mean, I remember as a kid, you couldn't. You couldn't give away Japanese stuff. I mean, you couldn't give away Japanese stuff was a joke. I mean, it just sat and sat. There were a few people that would collect it and bought it. And today, I stopped in a gun store. There was a Japanese last ditch Arisaka, last ditch. It had a mum, but it was a last ditch gun. It had a crappy rear sight, no cover, rough metal. I think it was $700 or something, and it was just like, oh man. I mean, Freeze, his advice was, if you're going to the gun show this weekend, maybe think about picking up some Cold War era stuff. I would tend to agree with that. The Cold War era stuff is still not, it's in a fun, the Cold War era guns, and I would consider guns Cold War era from the 50s through the 80s. You get a lot of foreign-made guns that are no longer imported in the U.S., no longer even manufactured in some cases, so even if that changed, they're not being made anymore. Like the Beretta AR-70 is a perfect example. The Beretta AR-70 is a interesting example of a stamped receivered gun that's historically significant, no longer manufactured. It's got that 70s kind of vibe to it, and even if Donald Trump gets to be president and they change all of that and his son convinces them to change all the import and everything, that gun's gone, dude. That gun's gone. So, and they're going, and what the guns now are $3,000, and you know, a couple years ago they were $1,500. You know, so these guns that maybe are not World War II guns, but maybe are Cold War guns. If Hillary gets in office, and you know, I mean, it's all going to go up and up and up. And if Trump gets in office, and let's say everything changes, a lot of that stuff, it's going to go up and up and up because it's gone. I mean, it's just, it's never going to be, they're not going to tool up to make that stuff. And even if they did, a lot of companies are not going to, like the Daewoo. They had a guy, like we were just talking in this video before, guy, it's like, hey, got a Daewoo, we're looking for a Daewoo, whatever. The Daewoos they make now in Korea do not look anything like the Daewoos that they made, you know, back in the day. And if Daewoo were to, is even Daewoo still around anymore? If as a gun company, if they were to like come back in and want to bring those guns back into the U.S., let's say like things change, and it's, you know, everybody wants to be in the U.S. gun market. The problem is they're going to be competing with every AR, every SCAR, every ACR, every modern iteration of gun, and so they're going to come out with a gun that's got 5 feet of rail on it, and it's going to have all polymer, all this. It's not going to be the same gun from the 70s. It's not going to be the same Cold War gun. And man, you should really give some of these Cold War guns a hard look if you're a gun guy and gun girl, and you know you're looking for that stuff, because some of the World War II stuff is getting, man, like the M1 Grands. Man, it sucks. I hate those prices. I hate those prices. It's bullshit. I hate those prices. So, did I answer your question? I mean, I try and do the best we can. So, at least I don't have an earpiece in my ear, people telling me what to say. So, let's see here. K31 Precision Rifle Update. Yeah, I never said this publicly. The K31 was damaged. I damaged it. Freeze had it set up, and we were doing. I took it back with me to the Armory, and I was doing some ladder work with it, and some ballistic stuff with it. And we had in the rifle room, we were putting in new shelving, and we had a temporary gun rack up. And you know, they're all on the, you know, one that you move around, that it was on the floor, and the rack ended up getting knocked over, and all the guns went down. And you know, the military guns, they were, you know, I mean, they were banged up, but they weren't damaged. K31 with the custom optic or custom mount optic, it got Zero got all screwed up, and Freeze has been too busy to deal with it, and so that's my fault. I messed it up. So that's gone. The M not well, you know what? The M96 update. I assume that's the Robinson. We do have a Robinson. It's in the Armory. Actually, it's new and unfired. I mean, I don't. No, it is. It's got tags on it. It's new and unfired, and we. That's why we're doing videos. That's why we're doing stuff like this, and so you're going to start seeing more content on out of the Armory. Video, we do all the articles, we do all the write-ups. We're going to be doing more video and hosting it on John 1911. We will dual post that kind of stuff to YouTube. We're going to turn the comments off on YouTube because I don't believe in YouTube. I think YouTube's dead. And for gun people, and what's going to end up happening is you'll go to Tactical T-Shirts YouTube page one day and it'll be gone. So they'll shut all the gun stuff down. And actually, that the gun people haven't figured this out yet, but YouTube has started making some moves, like Hickok 45 and some of these other big gun YouTube channels. Man, they're going to be hurting. They're going to be seriously hurting. So, we're doing video. We'll do the content. We're going to host it ourselves. We'll have it on YouTube as long as we can, but everybody will be trained to know that you go to John 1911 or some of the other outlets, or Snapchat or Instagram, even Twitter, which I hate. At least to follow us, to know something gets shut off. Hey, go to here, go here, go here, whatever. So yeah, you're gonna see more of that. Someone was asking, do I really have a camo Snuggie in the back of my pickup truck? Yeah, I do. It was given to me as a gag gift. No one ever knows what to buy me. It was, and I would never have bought one. I don't wear Snuggies. And they got a camo because I'm a gun guy, and they were like, well, yeah, Marky would like a camo, we'll get him a camo one. But here's the odd thing about it. That Snuggie, it's a solid thing. You look, you got all these people like truck guns. You got all these people that are like, I want a truck gun, and that's fine. You want to have options, you have equipment in your vehicle, you carry a cell phone, you do all that. But a lot of people don't have blankets in their cars. And if, they break down, it's the winter, they freeze to death, you're more likely to freeze to death or have an issue with a young child or someone who's very old with you if you've got a family. And if, you just never know when it's going to come in handy having a blanket in your vehicle. Well, what I like about the Snuggie is it's 100% polyester, which everybody hates, but if it gets wet in the truck, I mean, I keep, I don't trash it, but it's not like it dry rot. I mean, it doesn't rot, it doesn't eat away, nothing eats it. It's incredibly warm, and if I did want to use it for, one morning, if it was really cold in the deer stand or setting up hunting, it is camouflage. I mean, it does break up the pattern, and it's got sleeves. It's easy to, I can't believe I'm admitting this, owner of a t-shirt company, but man, that Snuggie's pretty righteous. So yeah, I keep it in the truck. It was a gag and it ended up working out really well. If you see one at a dollar store or you see one at whatever they call those 99-cent stores, I think about picking one up because then I was pleasantly surprised. Okay, anything else? Russian sniper done. Joel Parker, stop justifying a Snuggie and own it. Dude, I own it. I own it. That Snuggie is freaking awesome. And the next time I go, I'm in D.C. and I'm around some, you know what? Maybe I'll wear a Snuggie and sit on a park bench in Lafayette Park and be a douche with a Snuggie and be a homeless person. That Snuggie's the shit. I'm telling you what. That Snuggie is the be a shit. Wesley Williams. Next video needs to be a room clearing drill wearing that camo Snuggie. You know what? I actually do have a video planned. I'm going to explain my configuration on a quote tack rifle for room clearing, and explain, and it will explain. It's a pretty critical concept in room clearing. A lot of people get wrong, and yeah. Thanks for reminding me. We'll probably go ahead and do that. Let's see else. What else is there? I posted pics of my work pagers back from the '90s. We had pagers. I've been sitting on that for a while. We've got pagers that we used to use. We've got a phone tapping device we used to use. It's voice activated. And I actually don't have my lineman phone with alligator clips. My old partner, he got caught with it and had to throw it away. Some crack whore caught him with it outside of a place we're not supposed to be. And I would love to have that. So somebody was like Commodore 64, and they brought out the bag phone, and I remember the bag phones, and we're all going to die of ball cancer because of them damn bag phones. Bag phones and radar chronographs, and bag phones probably put out more microwaves than a freaking coffee heater in the morning. So let's see here. People are talking about the blankets. Okay, that's all the questions we got. I don't know how long we've been going. How long have we been going, folks? I can't. You know what? That's one thing. If Facebook ever they don't put a timer up for the guys doing the Facebook Live. Yeah, I always want to call it FaceTime, but that's on the iPhone. Okay, I guess I will save the best for last. The 300 Blackout article on John 1911, and the picture of the gun that kaboomed, and we get a lot of blowback on that. I understand that, and thanks, Wes. 42 minutes. We definitely got to wrap this up. Don't want to go too much longer. Look, I understand that. 300 Blackout. Okay, first things first. The gun that blew up, the 300 Blackout gun that blew up. The guy put a 300 Blackout round in a 223 rifle, big bullet, little hole, pressure spike, banana peeled the upper. It happens. Look, I'm not saying that's 300 Blackout's fault. No one's saying that's 300 Blackout's fault. But it is a reality that if you're going to run 300 Blackout, that is something you have to watch out for. And the 300, for those that don't know, 300 Blackout is based off a 223 case. So it's the same case. It's just blown out the neck for the 30 caliber bullet. So that's why the 223, 300 Black, that's why the regular Stenag magazines work in the 300 Blackout. So, if you're not paying attention, or you're around other people, or they're not paying attention, everybody's got a, quote, AR, and they're not, look, it's an issue. And I love the guys that roll in and they want to make the argument, you're an idiot, you're whatever, and, it's your fault, not the ammo's fault. And that's true. But, look, and the example that I like to give is diesel, okay? Bottom line is, diesel vehicles take diesel fuel, regular unleaded vehicles take regular petrol unleaded fuel. Look, I get it. And you're supposed to know the difference. But here's the real world, and you have to admit this. Across this country, every year, there are, or whether it's businesses that run work trucks, whether it's fire departments, transportation companies like ambulance services, all these people that they've got civilians driving these diesel vehicles, but they drive regular unleaded vehicles 99.999% of the time. Somewhere across the country every year, there's a municipality that you got to call accounting, and you got to be like, yeah, Bob put freaking unleaded in the freaking ambulance, or Bob put unleaded in the telephone company work vehicle. It happens. If you are going to run a diesel vehicle and you're going to have a bunch of people that are not used to that around, it's it's a recipe. Statistically speaking, there will be issues, and you have to at least acknowledge that that's a problem. I mean, you have to acknowledge that it's out there. I'm not saying it's a reason not to have 300 blackout. I'm not saying it's a reason not to have diesel. But, you know, if you have to at least be prepared to deal with that as a potential problem. Now, my main complaint personally with 300 blackout is, look, I get 300 blackout. I understand what it's for. I think it's based off the 300 whisper or whatever it is. I'm reading this. What does it say here? Yeah, I'm wrapping it up here soon, guys. So, you know, 300 whisper. It's ideal for suppressors, and it's ideal for all this stuff. And you know, if that's what you know. And look, I get it, but there are other guns that shoot subsonic ammo. You can get subsonic 223 ammo. You can get subsonic 308 ammo. So, and you even see a lot of the 300 blackout guys that are running ammo that's not even subsonic, which is fine. But I believe that if you're going to be an accomplished shooter and you're going to be an accomplished gun guy, one thing you have to do is you have to shoot your gun. You know, there's no substitute for trigger time. And if, you know, a guy like me, I can handle 300 blackout. I can run it. I can do whatever. I can support it if I want to support it. But what really bugs the piss out of me is the magazines and the cool kids and the gun forums. They will tell new guys, hey, I want to get an AR, I want to get whatever. And they will tell these kids to go out and buy this expensive, non-standard caliber that is, you know, that they're not even real. You know, one day they'll get an NFA stamp and they'll SBR their gun. One day they'll get a suppressor. But in the meantime, they're talked into by the magazines that these are all the greatest things to do. And I hate to see these broke-ass kids with these guns, and this stuff's crazy expensive. And it is crazy expensive. If you're shooting thousands of rounds a year, it's expensive. And, you know, the reloader guys, look, I get it. Look, I know the people that are talking, well, I just reload it. But, you know, I find the reloader guys are just like the guys that you know, either align to themselves about how many rounds a year they shoot. They'll be like, I shoot thousands of rounds a year. Yeah, no, you don't. No, you don't. If you flog your rounds, there's a lot of people, most people, they're not. They're not shooting enough. And the reloader guys, they're not shooting enough. And it's even more difficult to be feeding reloading presses with these guns that hold, I don't know, how many rounds does a Stanag 30-round 223 magazine hold of 300 blackout? I mean, it's not 30. I guess maybe it would be because it's the same case. Is it 30 rounds? 28, 30 rounds? I guess it would be. Duh. I mean, you know, but it's a lot of money, and I really would warn people that if you're new to guns and you're new to ARs and you know you're trying to buy a gun because Hillary might get to be elected and you need to think long term and you just don't want to get left out just in case you turn into Europe, and somebody tells you to buy 300 blackout, is a fucking dickhead. That is the somebody's not doing you right, and that's the problem with 300 blackout. But but you can't say anything. You can't point out any of the things you need to do to be a responsible owner of 300 blackout, without the 300 blackout guys wanting to cut your goddamn head off like the Taliban. 300 blackout has turned into the equivalent of CrossFit, the fitness. They're becoming almost obnoxious. It's like a cult, and it's like, look, we get it, dude, you know, but man, you know, you gotta be able to step back and you know, look at the big picture. I mean, if it works for you, great. If 300 blackout turns into that you can get bulk ammo, wolf ammo, hunting ammo, cheap, you know, gold, you know, tool, whatever, gold or whatever, and all this, and 300 blackout, you know, you can get it super cheap, super expensive, you know, because it's picked up by the U.S. military. Lake City 300 blackout, you know, we'll revisit. But, you know, it's a boutique round. It would be like me telling a kid that gets and says, hey, Marky, I want to get a precision gun. I want to get a bolt gun. I want to get into whatever. Oh, I want to. Oh, here. This is a perfect example. The guys that are like, I want to get into the long range game. I want to get my first gun. And you get on these forums and you'll see these guys and the first freaking gun, they'll be like, I'm gonna buy a 338 Lapua. And it's like, what the fuck are you thinking? And the argument is, well, you can shoot 1,500 yards, you can shoot a mile, you can do whatever, it does everything. And you get some kid who doesn't have any sense, he doesn't have a whole lot of money, and he's going to learn 100 yards, position shooting, learning ladders on a 338 Lapua, volume shooting at $5 a shot or $3 a shot. And guess what happens? If you're in the market for a 338 Lapua rifle, I mean, I'm talking a full custom gap, one of these crazy, wait years for a gun. Look in the for sale section of all these high-end precision rifle forums. You'll find 338 Lapua all day, every day. You want to know why? Because they're expensive to shoot, and the bulk of the value of your growth as a shooter is going to come from shorter range, different types of training. And it's kind of the same problem. Like, if a kid comes to me and he's like, hey, Marky, I see you like those Blaser rifles, and they're stupid expensive, and they're all this and crazy accurate, and I'm crazy about them. Should I get a Blaser or should I get a Savage? If I tell that kid to get a Blaser, I'm a fucking dickhead. Because that kid doesn't need a Blaser. That kid needs a Winchester Model 70. And I'm a Winchester guy. I don't like a Remington. I'm a Winchester guy. But, you get a gun that's more realistic. That's going to, let that person help himself. I don't hate 300 Blackout. I think it's a neat round. I think it's got lots of potential. But to me, it's like a 6.5 284. It's a round that I would launch selectively for a specific use. If I'm going to use a gun in a building, if I'm room clearing or building searching, I'm doing 223. I'll put a suppressor on it. If I'm that concerned about it and, sonic crack, I'll get subsonic ammo in 223. It's just, I can get ammo for it all day. I can get good ammo, bad ammo. The 300 Blackout doesn't really doesn't do enough to justify the price for a lot of people. And that's all. So if I point out issues with 300 Blackout, that's all we're doing. Be aware of the kaboom issue. Be aware of the price issue. Be aware of, whatever. It's not, you don't have to be like the CrossFit dudes. Let's see here. 300 Blackout is the hipster round of the AR world. You know what, Joel Parker Sherman? I'm going to tell you a story. A place I used to work, pretty famous place. Not going to get into it. We had a bunch of these gun writers come through. They write for all these magazines. And this was the time when 6.8 SPC was like the hot shit round. And this was, I don't know, it's 2016. God, this might be 8 years ago, 9 years ago. Before we were all piston driven and all this kind of stuff, the big craze was SOCOM was researching this. It's a done deal. It's so much better. 6.8 SPC. And it was like, I can't remember what SPC stands for, but it was going to be like Special Forces, whatever. And everybody was so certain. And these guys showed up, and they had these ARs, and it was 6.8 SPC. And they shot these guns for 3 days. And if I recall, the 6.8 SPC at the time, I don't remember if it was $1 a shot or if it was $3 a shot. Let me show the Jeep a little bit more. If it was $1 a shot or $3 a shot. And they shot, I think it was 1,500 rounds a person. It was a lot of money. And, it's cool. Everyone else is shooting ARs and 5.56. And it was thousands. I mean, their ammo bill, it was thousands of dollars. But somebody else was paying their freight, and they're writing an article for a magazine that's trying to sell you something. And 6.8 SPC was the fucking shit. And where is it now? Didn't get picked up, did it? Scar 16 rifle. I like the Scar 16 rifle. They're crazy fuck expensive. It's going to be the next service rifle. Didn't get picked up, did it? You know, so we've all got the stuff that we like that isn't maybe not the most economically feasible. That's all it is. Scar 16 over an AR, there's not a whole lot there. I like the Scar, but AR gets the job done. 300 blackout for me. I run a Scar, but I don't run 300 blackout. Other people would run 300 blackout and would hate the Scar. That's fine. There's not a right or wrong. It's just an issue, you know, just something to be considered. And, you know, the 6.8 SPC guys, man, I've seen stuff come and I've seen stuff go. And, you know, if you're a guy you're an industry professional, or, you know, you've got an ammo budget, or you've got a department, or you got a group, or you're, you know, man, it's an issue. So, all right. Precision Bolter long range, 6.5 Creedmoor or 7mm mag. They both have great terminal ballistics. I have no experience with 7mm. I'm familiar with it. The 6.5. Here's the thing. This is, you know, here's another great example. 6.5 Creedmoor is 300 blackout. 6.5 Creedmoor has done more to make it than 300 blackout has. You're seeing a lot of companies roll 6.5 Creedmoor. You're able to find match ammo on the shelf. Was it Hornady? 6.5 Creedmoor. That's the same price as Federal Gold Medal match. That's because there's so many people buying it and there's so many people using it, and they're getting, you know, if you can't hand load or you're not a hand loader, if you wanted to do the 6.5 Creedmoor, yeah, dude. I mean, it's very. I mean, look, if you're learning and you need to learn, let's do more of the Jeep. More people want to see the Jeep. Let me move here. Let's see if you can see the motorcycle. So there we go. So, all right. You know, if you're, I mean, I still would say 300 or 308 is the best way to go, because you can get the, you know, the cheap stuff. You can do position shooting. You can really learn a lot on the 308. 6.5 Creedmoor is getting it done. But here's an interesting argument. The reason why 6.5 Creedmoor is popular in the U.S. and why this kind of was created is because the precision rifle guys, the PRS guys, they all like the short action guns, so they don't have to break their cheek weld, and, you know, the idea of a shorter action maybe is more less flex, you know, whatever. So, you know, they've basically taken a 6.5 Swede caliber, which is a worldwide famous caliber, incredible ballistics, incredible options for loading it hot and doing whatever and bullet weights, and made a short action round in 6.5 Creedmoor. You know, I think 6.5 Swede is a hell of a nice gun, and there's a lot of match ammo in Europe for 6.5 Swede. And if you can find a gun that the action will run a 6.5 Swede round, but it's not a totally long action to break your cheek weld, I personally would probably choose that over 6.5 Creedmoor. Now, as an American, I'm being a hypocrite, because as an American, 6.5 Creedmoor seems to be catching on, but tell you what, 6.5 Creedmoor is a copy of a 6.5 Swede as far as I'm concerned. So, anyway. All right. Okay, I guess that's probably going to be about it. So we've gone probably 50 minutes or close to an hour. So Winchester 52, some kind of crazy station wagon or four-wheel drive Jeep from 1951, a Harley from the 80s. And if you like what we're doing and you like what we're about, you can follow us on our blog page. That's john1911.com. That's JOHN1911.com. Think about signing up for our mailing list. We do a couple emails a week. We don't sell your list. We don't share. We don't rent it. We don't do all that kind of stuff. But email, I think, is the most effective way to stay in touch with people. If you want to follow us on Facebook, we're Tactical T-shirts 1. If you want to buy a T-shirt, I don't know what I'm even wearing. Waterboarding instructor. This is an old shirt. Waterboarding instructor. let's see, yeah, waterboarding instructor. These are real popular with the SEER school instructors. You can go to tacticaltshirts.com. That's tactical TSHIRTS.com, and you know, obviously support us. The sales help us do all this, keep all this running, pay for everything, and you know, we love the support. We are on Snapchat, Mr. Tactical T-shirts. I have a snap code. I don't know how to do it. So we appreciate your support, everybody. Thanks for your time, and this is the Armory Chat from the garage at the farm. And everybody have a good Saturday night. I gotta get the Winchester 52 video done now. See you later.